And um, so, Esther, thank you so much for joining me today for the conversation about your entrepreneurial journey and your company. So, the name of your company is Jumping Rivers.
Yeah, that's right.
Why Jumping Rivers?
Oh, there's so many stories. I think, well, me and my husband both founded the company, and we went through a very long list of names, and a few of them felt quite nice and they were very statistical, and that was appropriate, but none of them felt different to other companies that
Mm-hmm.
were had similar names. You know, anything with analytics in it is varied what the company does, and we wanted it to be slightly more independent. So we kind of played around with names for a couple of months, and eventually I said, what about Jumping Rivers? And the reason that came about was due to the fact when we were dating many years ago, one of the things we discovered was we both used to jump rivers after school every day. And that was like our thing. At the end of the day, you could go and you could play in something and you could set yourself challenges and you could always find a way to make it easier or more complicated. And you could do the same route but add different things. And it was very satisfying, and anytime we talked about it we were both smiling. Anybody I knew who talked about it, we had little kids, and when they go to a little tiny trickle of water, a stream, they would automatically want to jump over this little tiny stream. It just automatically seemed to need to achieve that. And when I was in the park or anywhere, you always seen people create things around rivers, and so I thought, well, we'll try it. And it was one name we didn't hate both, and we both liked, and we decided just to go for it. So I think it kind of helps. Most people we spoke when we were testing it out always smiled when they said it back, and they always seemed to have an optimistic, positive response. So
Interesting. It's such a story behind. That's awesome. So you never changed it. You never had like previous name which you changed.
nope.
Wow, amazing. So how long you been out there? How long you been active as a company?
Yeah, so we created the company 4.5 years ago,
Mhm.
and we've been trading for just over 4 years.
How it's going?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it still feels like we're a young company, you know?
Even after 4 years.
Yeah, I think so, because we're part, well, I'm not an academic in any shape or form. I'm the opposite, but most of the company has a very academic feel to it. It's all about research and constantly learning new things. And so with every customer and every challenge and even our internal projects, there's always a learning curve. There's always something new. There's always a way to improve and to up the ante, like to get a better result. How to simplify something becomes more complex in the journey to make it a simpler solution for the end user. So it does. It feels really new at times when you apply similar methods to a new difficulty for a customer, or just integrating their data in a new way really always feels very exciting and new. And even just meeting clients, you know, there's always somebody who's doing something you haven't heard of before. So that's very exciting as well. We don't work with one discipline. So we work across sectors, so there's always something different going on. You know, it's health data one day, football data another, and you just can never tell um, what's going to
Hmm.
come up.
Yeah, it's, I think what we have the same in our company because
Mhm.
just a few bits about me. We started our company 2 years ago. We started actively trading in March, surprisingly, during the lockdown. For us, it was kind of, we had this silver lining that a lot of companies go on digital now, and we help them basically digitalize their business and start building customers online. So we start trading in March, and I always like we have different range of clients from different industries, and it's always so interesting. One day you have bagpiper, another day you have a technology company, another day you have a company that do little robots to put in blood to check if people have cancer. So it's like such a big range of different businesses, and I always kind of learn something new. So I definitely can relate. It's never boring. Have you been considering kind of focus on one industry, one type of clients? Who is your typical client, let's say?
So I think the industry almost doesn't matter. So we've got clients across from marketing and pharma and chemical companies, and actually quite a few environmental companies. And I guess the way you're saying about digitizing a company, it doesn't really matter what the industry is for us, because when we work with a client, it's extremely collaborative. You know, that client, that person, they are their expert in their field. And so we're very collaborative working with them. And I don't see the need to specialize in one area. You know, if we're doing a data pipeline, it doesn't matter if it's for a mapping company or for a government body, it's a data pipeline, and that's, you know, harnessing and making things faster or smoother for them. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be a need. I think it would be easier for our marketing purposes if we were looking after one industry or one type of customer, but really all our customers are at a similar stage. They're looking to how would I clarify this in a few words? It's quite hard. All our customers are just at that edge of they've got to the end of their statistical knowledge or the end of how they're going to manage their data, and they just need that next step. So they're all in the same area. When you come down to what they need, it's just that next step. How do they move towards machine learning? How do they move towards predictive modeling? And so it's quite exciting to kind of help someone along with that. And I don't at this stage see a need to go down one industry.
Fair enough. You're saying that you're helping companies to do this extra step when it's very difficult to do by yourself, probably just to do the step from collecting data, managing data, to do machine learning, to do data science. So what exactly do you do? How do you help people?
Oh, that's a great question. So I'm not a data scientist. I'm the project manager or customer relations. But so technically that can vary quite a lot depending on the customer and how ready they are. So a lot of our customers already have analysts who have done a lot of training, and so we specialize in two programming languages, R and Python, and they'll be able to do a lot of visualizations, but when it comes to getting something that's really sort of beyond their capability, that's where we would help. So it could be a dashboard, like or it could be the getting the APIs up and running and speeding up how they get things responding for their end users, whether that's a customer or internally. And fitting models that are maybe a little bit more complex than what they can do. So most of our staff have got PhDs in statistics. So it's just that little bit further than what most people have in their teams. And also sometimes the capacity of their work is too great for the team they have internally. So one of our marketing companies are quite big, but actually their data science team was one person. Then it went up to 3 people, and they realized if they're going to sort of start offering better services to their customers, they needed a lot more than 3 people. So they needed to create as many efficiencies as they could. So outsourcing for them, that meant one day of their work, you know, we would maybe harness 3 or 4 times the amount of results as they could, just because of the experience in the team, you know, their ability to program and model was quicker. So it was more efficient for their costs to outsource it. So that's kind of, don't know that really answered that very well, but it's a little bit of insight, I guess.
I think what you're saying is, I would say you're saying that it can vary from client to client and depends on their company's need, basically. You're working with B2B clients.
Yes.
Do you have any individuals as your customers, or it's always companies?
We've got one or two individuals, but they're still either they're outsourced to a company's outsourcing to them, or they are accompanying themselves. They're just like a one-man band, but mostly it's always companies. So we work with some very small companies who only got 3 or 4 people in them. We've got one in particular who's only one, but the rest are all either universities or larger corporates clients. We've got a few startups who we're working with. In particular, one of them is a one-man band, and he scales his company up and down depending on the projects he's running.
Yeah.
So he's got about 4 at the moment, but that'll probably scale down when he goes, and then when he wants to build his product out again, he'll build it up and so forth.
Being a startup is very interesting state of work. You're always kind of changing, you're going through, you're like water. Sometimes you freeze, sometimes you snow, sometimes you just water, sometimes you evaporate. So yeah, being startup ourselves, it's quite a journey. It's quite a journey. Do you consider your company as a startup? Do you have like big capability, big growth kind of aspirations, or you consider yourself as a company, so you're planning to get bigger, but not like extremely one?
That's a great question. We ask ourselves that a lot. So we're definitely, I think until you're 3 years old, you're allowed to call yourself a startup. I don't know that we're allowed to call ourselves a startup anymore, although I do feel when we go into a new company and it's a new area that we have to learn a little bit of their domain knowledge, you know, you kind of have that startup feeling again. But no, I think we're not a startup anymore. It feels like we're a little bit more established. We've grown quite a bit. So we started with 1 employee and my husband doing very few hours and part-time still at the university, and myself doing a few part-time as well. And now we've got 11 people working for us.
Wow.
And so I think we've gone by startup, but I don't know how much bigger we want to be. We've got almost all the skills in-house that we need, or would want. There's probably a few more we'd like, but aren't essential at this stage. So I'm not sure how much bigger we want to grow.
Well, I think there is no limit, to be honest. And if you have good business model which can scale, you always can go for it. I'm not sure, is it like about ability to scale customers, or its ability to raise investments? It's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. Is it ability to kind of say that we are high growth potential startup? Do we need to prove that we can have a lot of clients at the same time and we have capabilities to work with them, so our team is enough? Or it's about ability to say, okay, there are people who are interested in our business and they ready to invest this amount of money, so we are high growth potential startups. So I always kind of between those two and trying to find myself somewhere around. You work with your husband. Does it affect like family dynamic, or
Probably. I'm not sure. So we've been together so long that, yeah, it's hard to tell where one starts and one ends, I guess. I'm not sure. It depends which day you ask, I guess, as well. You know, things are, it hasn't changed much in our family other than at night time after dinner, the kids are sitting with us and we're all chatting away about our day. And suddenly we're exchanging things about, oh, did you see that email? Oh, by the way, and the kids are like, oh my goodness, will you shut up about work? Will you be quiet about work? And so that happens more than it should, those kind of catch up moments, because we work together. We run this company together. But my husband still has another job, so he's not always with me. We often are sitting on other sides of the city when it's not COVID, and we don't see each other during work hours ever. If we go to clients, we never go together. It's very rarely we go and see a client together. And if we travel, we don't travel together because we've different roles, very different roles in the company. During COVID, we share a desk now. That has been uncomfortable, but not because of work, just because we're both used to being on our own during working hours, where we're not competing with who's on a video chat. I've always worked from home. The company was set up to be a remote working company, so all our employees can go out for walks during the day and enjoy their surroundings or whatever they enjoy doing at whatever point. So that's always been a thing. But when COVID hit, me and my husband suddenly found ourselves sharing this room and sharing the big desk, which was never an issue before. So that's maybe more of an issue than working together in a company. Very different to working in an office that we're sharing and a house that we're sharing. That's uncomfortable. That's definitely takes my breath away, and not in a good way.
I feel you. Yes. So my co-founder and I, we used to we started as friends, and then we started company together. Then she at that point used to live in Italy, so she was based in Italy. So she moved back to Scotland. We started living together in one apartment. Then we had office, of course, but then COVID happened and office was closed. Now we just separate one room where we have in-home office, and we're working from here. We also have one desk, and it's very interesting. So we are flatmates, we are friends, we are business partners, and basically we're co-workers in one room. So yeah,
it's a lot. There's just no escape, is there?
Yeah, the thing, it's not I want to escape from this particular situation. It's very, very fulfilling. Kind of, you do understand it's when you're working on something which is your own, and you have good working relationship, and your partner is also very invested into the project. It's very fulfilling. You're raising a baby together, basically. So from one side, but it can be a lot of pressure, and I saw effects on our friendship dynamic because it wasn't easy all the time. So for example, something happens on work, she, for example, I'm not happy with her schedule or something, and I can be very bossy in some way, and I'm why? So and it would affect our friendship, but somehow we kind of found the balance, I would say, and it's going good. So yeah, COVID. What about impact of COVID and lockdown situation on your business growth?
So it's definitely stopped growth. So we were growing at 40% each year. We were going to do a hiring round in March, which we paused due to the fact COVID broke out. We weren't really sure how our clients would be affected. So our regular clients, our main clients, have not been affected at all. One client who's on retainer, they drew back for 3 months and says, we just need to pull back. We've got a couple of marketing companies. So one of them said, you know what, our clients have they've all stopped functioning. we need to just press pause. So we supported them anyway. We said, well, we can support you guys for the next 3 months, because if you stop functioning for your clients, they're never going to get back on their feet. So we did that for a few months, and we met with them in September, and they went, you know what, we've got through this, and financially we're okay. We can resume things. And that was only one client, you know. The rest of our clients has been fine. They've all been fine. I think they've probably put pause on some of their bigger projects, partly because they don't have the data. So a few of our public health clients, they're missing data from the projects they would be doing. You know, all hands on deck went to COVID. So 2 in particular have all been redeployed internally, and so that's changed how they're doing things, and changed how we were interacting with them. So that's been a bit of a change. So we've started hiring again this September. We've got a new starter who started this month. One who started back in July, actually, and we've also got another one starting in January. And I would have liked to have had those 3 hires done earlier in the year. And then next year, I would be expecting another. As I say, we're kind of in questions of how much to grow. So at the moment, the team feels like with these new starters, we'll have all the skills we are essential, and we shouldn't need to outsource. We did have 4 subcontractors before COVID, but during COVID, that changed. Their dynamics and what they needed to do changed. So we made it that they didn't need to come into us, that they could take on like a year's contract with somebody and be more secure for their family situations. So that kind of changed a little bit. So although we've just hired 3 more people, we were actually 4 people down for a few months. So capacity was we were over capacity. I would think we won't be growing 40% this year, which is a shame, but that's all right. During COVID, I think there's so many people have been hit so hard. I feel incredibly lucky for our kind of business that we're just fortunate. Our clients have all survived. You know, if you've got, as I said, we've got some pharma, financial clients, and chemical companies. They've all still been functioning, and there's been no knock-on effect there. And the environmental and public health are still, you know, they're the kind of things that have to happen. You know,
definitely. In terms of clients, like, do you see it's more difficult to acquire clients now, or how do you acquire clients in general? Do you have like a pipeline of clients, or just I don't know, how would you manage that?
you mean for new business?
Yeah.
Or I don't know yet. We haven't worked that out. We usually go out and meet clients. So this is an interesting stage because it can take, although we're 4 years running, some clients, you know, you meet them and you're doing work with them within 6 weeks, right? But one client who's just signed up last week, I think we met them a year and a half ago, you know? So I won't know the effects for a while. The other company who started work with us in April, we'd been meeting them for about a year and a little bit. You know, so it's very hard for us to know what the effects of COVID will be next year for us. I think this year's been fine, but it'd be next year and the year after. I don't know how we should meet new clients. I don't know how they want us to meet them. Most companies come to us through recommendation, or, you know, we're on our studio partner. And I think, you know, that's quite credible. In fact, it's very credible if you're doing data science, that you know about R, and therefore if our studio is saying you're a fully certified partner, that's quite credible. So we get quite a few customers just through that.
That's great.
On its own. Yeah.
That's really great. Interesting. So in terms of how long your usual contract with the client, is it like a recurring thing, or is it one project? Is it a subscription model? How do you work?
We don't have a subscription model, so we've got a few different clients. So we've got 3 parts to the company. We've got a training aspect, and we do a lot of training. So we've got some of those clients who we've been doing for years. So we've been training for the Francis Crick Institute and a few universities, like a Bangor University, for a number of years since we started, really. And they just have their set training for postgraduates that they need to do, and that's what we go in and supply each year for them. So for the Francis Crick, I think we're probably doing weekly at times. Sometimes, every couple of weeks there's a course running online. We used to do that on site, so that's pretty much what it is. Our other clients, we either go annually or every other year, depending on when they get their new intake for their teams. Like of NHS Scotland, we did, their first cohort where they were doing R instead of a licensed software. So we won the contract for that and just kind of kept going till everyone had the base knowledge in that programming language. And we've done that for a few other public health sectors, bodies, sorry. On the data science and consultancy, we've got a few different models. We've got some project-based where we go in and we'll do an assessment of what they need. We'll start off the project, do a little bit of training, and then we do support. So either email and mentoring those individuals, and then we'll add features. We'll do code review and help them get things further. So we're on retainer for a number of those. And for our studio customers, we sell our studio software and we provide how to deploy it. We'll set everything up for the client. We maintain, we manage and support the clients with that as well. So that's getting close to a subscription model, right? But it's not quite. We don't have a product that we sell. So we've got our services there, but not quite a product at this stage.
How much easier it will be to sell products? Sometimes I'm thinking, can you imagine? You just have I don't know. I know this company which produce guacamole. So it's such a nice idea. You just selling guacamole. That's it. Who's your customers? People. Where do you sell them? In supermarkets. I mean, I see myself in the future. I have a dream to start maybe second company where it's gonna be product-based company, and I will be selling products. I'm just really interested. I think it should be very, very different from service companies where you're selling service. So yeah, I have a dream. Esther, thank you so much for joining me today. I would move us to the second part of the interview, which is very short. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I would ask you to answer as short as possible. So maybe one sentence, a few words. So first question, how do you see yourself in 5 years?
Still with Jumping Reverse. Yeah. Still
Good.
here.
Still here. How do you see a company in 5 years?
I think we'll be a little bit more out there, feel less startup-like, more established in the UK and outside of the UK.
You will be already kind of very mature company, like how many years? 9 years. It's kind of very mature stage. So good luck with that. Are you interested in traveling, and do you see yourself living in other countries?
Not in the short term, no. In 5 years' time, no, definitely not. I've got my family, so this job was manufactured, this company, that I could work while supporting my children and getting them to a stage where they're independent, and they're still quite young. So until another 10 years or so, I think this is me. I'm in Newcastle. I'm happy here. I'd like to travel a little bit with work. But really, they're my priority and will be for quite some time.
That sounds great. What does entrepreneurship means to you?
Oh, it means just really plugging hard at your abilities and your skills, learning constantly, just understanding who to meet and when to meet them, trying to get a good supportive network. It doesn't have to be anybody other than a few other companies nearby. Ideally established and other startups, and that really does help. Just
It does.
it does. Having a few companies who are at your same stage and a few individuals who have gone that little bit further. So, you know, the 3 years further than you, 4 years further than you. And ideally, a company that has similarities is ideal, but that's really hard. We didn't find any of those locally when we started up. So I had a lot of companies who I met which were product based or very different industries. And you know, it would be, say, an accounting firm who was doing a digital accountancy. You know, they're doing one thing, right? They're not doing different things.
Yeah.
So, or a branding agency, well, they're doing branding pictures, but every time we do a customer, we're offering something different. Our offering's never the same to each customer. It's so bespoke. You can't really, you know, just write one script for each client. It's always different.
Every client
Yeah,
is unique. I can
every
relate to
client
that.
is unique. Yeah, I think you do. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can, yeah. And the last question, what is the most important in life?
Finding something that you're happy to do, finding joy in the little things, finding satisfaction, being content with things.
Being content sounds good. Thank you,
Yeah.
Esther, so much for the interview. I really enjoyed it, and I'm happy we expanded our interview base, and now we do interview also in Newcastle. That's exciting because we started as a Scotland-based interview kind of situation channel, and now we have Newcastle and Ireland, and we're going down to London. It's awesome. I'm very happy about it, and thank you for being today with me. Please share with our viewers how we can find you, what the best way of contacting you and Jumping Rivers, and if our viewers going to be interested in your services, how you can help them.
Oh, sorry, you mean a question? Yeah, on our website, which is jumpingrivers.com, email info@jumpingrivers.com. We do also have Twitter handle, which is UK_jumping, and definitely email, and we get on a video chat. So this is how we communicate all the time with our customers, just like personal. As soon as we can, we would like to discuss, and you know, it's always nice just to figure out if and where and when's the right time for somebody to start their journey in data science. Obviously, everybody should be doing it, but what's right for them and in the right timing for them is the key. So a discussion helps that a lot more than any information or documentation you can find.
Definitely. So I'm just gonna say a few words to the camera. So guys, if you have any questions regarding how and when start a data science journey, please contact Jumping Rivers on their website, Twitter, or book a call. And I hope Esther will be able to help you with any questions you have. Thank you so much, Esther. I did enjoy it so much, and I will send you follow-up email. I think the video will be out in quite some time because we had so many interviews this month because we're preparing for holiday season. So when we are not gonna do any interviews, so we had like every day I have about 3. So
Wow.
yeah, I know.
When do you get time to do your work?
So I have 2 specific days which I dedicated to interviews because it's what we always wanted to do as a company is kind of motivate other people, share other people's stories. So it always was part of our vision for our company. As a marketing company, we are looking to help other people kind of reach success. So it's kind of always was in our what we wanted to do. So I dedicated Tuesday and Wednesdays to do interviews, and I'm doing it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you, Esther, so much. And I wish the best luck to Jump in Reverse. I will keep in touch with you via emails if you're okay with this. And I will let you know about when the video will be out, and we can share it on social media and kind of promote your company and our interview as well.
Yeah. So when you do marketing, what kind of marketing do you do? Because there's so many marketing specialities, isn't there? Everyone does something slightly different.
So basically, we help high growth potential startups and companies which wish to grow to build customer channels online. So we help the companies which weren't digitalized, weren't getting customers via LinkedIn, Twitter, social media, whatever we use, because we have B2B and B2C companies as well. So for some of them is for some companies like it's LinkedIn for example, for you probably. For some companies it's Instagram. So we focus on building these channels.
Okay.
Okay. So I will send you an email. I will provide some details if you're interested, and just will be happy to stay in touch. They are planning to do newsletter and kind of share tips on marketing and stuff. So I will be happy to subscribe you if you're fine. And yeah, stay in touch and good luck, and wish you a productive day. Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.